Hello, my name is Amy Kenyon, and this is my son, Saxton Kenyon. This is our lesson, How Can You Make the Best Boat Using a Variety of Materials? This grade level is from 3rd to 5th grade.
Hello, I am co-teaching with Amy. My name is Kelsey McCarthy, and we're going to go ahead and get started on this.
Okay, so to start the lesson off, he has already been engaged in the lesson by watching a video about different types of materials to build boats and how different types of materials affect the way a boat might sail or might float in the water. So he already has some information and has been engaged and is interested in the lesson. So for this lesson, Saxton is going to build a boat using one of each a variety of materials. His materials are going to include one piece of copy paper, one piece of aluminum foil, and one piece of index cards, all 3x5. He's only allowed to use one of each of the materials at the beginning of the lesson. Your criteria is going to be your boat must float for at least 3 minutes holding 20 pennies, and it needs to be at least 12 centimeters long and 6 centimeters wide. Okay? Okay, he's going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to start. He's going to have 1 minute to build the boat, and after that, we're going to go ahead and test the boat. So, your time begins now. So Saxton is building his boat, and after he builds his boat and we put it in the water to test it, I'm going to ask him a variety of questions to test for any kind of prior knowledge or just some inquiry-based questions that he might, I just want to gauge his learning to see what he already might think of why his boat will float or why it might not, or what type of materials he thinks is going to be the best, or why he picked those materials. You have 25 seconds if you want to make any adjustments. You think you're good? Okay.
He's ready.
Hey, if you're ready, go ahead. And you can place it in very gently. Okay.
Staying afloat so far.
It's floating. So far, his boat is floating on top. It's a little bit submerged. He used one of each of the three, and okay, you could start putting your pennies on. So why did you decide to build your boat doing it the way you did? Why did you decide to build it layered like that?
Well, I thought aluminum foil is kind of portable and it can spin water.
Okay.
So, so you put it up and the people
Okay.
so I got that the copy paper and so
Okay, so a stronger structure.
yes,
Okay.
Okay, are you close to 20 pennies?
um,
Okay, I think one more and you're at 20. Okay, so he has met his criteria now, and now his boat just has to stay. His timer, I started it, it's right now it's at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So now while your boat's floating, and we're gonna see if it stays above water or submerges below the water, what do you think, what is a boat? What is a boat to you? What do you think a boat is?
oh, no.
Okay, what do you think a boat is? It's okay, it's part of the
I
experiment.
think
Okay, what are the essential characteristics of a boat? Like, what are the most important aspects of a boat?
maybe yes. Um, I don't know. Something like
Okay, so what must a boat do to be useful? Go ahead and say it. That's right. Well, I mean, it's your answer, so you're. What's the most useful thing of a boat? Okay. What about to float? Do you think that's useful? Okay. What are some boats made of that you know of?
Like wood,
Okay.
maybe metal,
Okay.
like really thick metal. for,
Yeah.
like, armor.
Okay. Your timer's almost off. Are all boats made of the same materials? You just answered that because no, right?
No.
Some are metal, some are wood, some might be tin, some might be fiberglass. Um, is one design better than another based on the material that is like better than another material, do you think? Do you think one material is better than another? Okay, what material do you think would be the best and why?
Probably armor or
Okay.
because more like strength in it and like wood is definitely hard.
Oh yeah, or get a
And
hole in
then,
there?
yeah, like
Okay.
maybe something like that.
Okay, good. Okay, so we are at 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, as you can see, Saxon's boat ended up sinking.
Thinking yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let Kelsey take over now, and she's gonna ask them. So look at her now.
Okay, and you guys are cutting out a little bit with the sound.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not hearing Saxon too well. So buddy, if you just want to speak up a little bit with the answers, okay? So this is our explain part of the experiment. So now that the activity has been completed, we are just gonna kind of go over what happened. So Saxton, why do you think that this boat was not successful with holding the 20 pennies?
Well, I don't think it was successful. It's really like
Oh, it's cutting out. I'm not hearing him too good. I heard I think.
crappy tinfoil. So, and it's not the best. So I just thought it might have been that.
Yeah, maybe it just couldn't hold the weight of the pennies, huh? Because it did really good just staying afloat when there was no weight on there.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think next time, if you were to do this again, there would be more success? Like maybe you would rebuild the boat a little bit to hold the pennies?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think that you would rebuild your boat to hold the 20 pennies?
Wait, does it matter how much like material that we use?
Nope, you could use whatever you would like out of the materials that you currently have. You can do some additives.
Well, probably more like styrofoam or tinfoil and like copy paper because like copy paper's more thicker than normal paper.
Good idea. I really like that. Cool. So yeah, that time you were only using those little construction cards. Let's see. So yeah, it was just a little bit more difficult to maybe construct how to hold the weight of the pennies just using the materials you were limited to. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So now moving on to the elaborate portion. This is a point that we would allow you, Saxon, to define your own criteria. So you could see the success using the materials that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And so, Amy, this is a point that we wanted to have him go ahead and build that.
Yeah.
I'm not picking up anything you're saying, Amy.
We're gonna have you. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna have you now. You're gonna be able to build whatever you want with whatever materials you want, and I'm gonna give you another minute to build this, but try to make it as strong as you can, using the knowledge that you learned from your first experiment to build upon that and create your own criteria to make the strongest boat you can. Okay?
Hopefully this boat could hold the 20 pennies, huh?
Yes. Hey, go ahead. Well, you're building, so that's okay. Go ahead. Okay, I'm going to start your timer now. So what I was saying, sorry, I know the audio, I hope that it's going to come across better. I was telling him that in real life with projects and stuff, they have a criteria, and that's how they figure out like how to make their building better or their project better. Is they start with the criteria, then they test it just like in the scientific method or the engineering design process, and that's how they determine what works, what doesn't, and then go back and redo their experiment or whatever they're building or their project to make it stronger, to make it better, to make it successful.
Yes, definitely the stemming from that engineering side that we can see they want to test how things can be strong, what makes them stronger, just like with this boat. He suggested using more of the aluminum foil because he feels like that's going to be a really great fit to make the boat sturdy while keeping it afloat.
Right. So as you guys can see, Saxton's testing his new boat. It's okay. So now that you can see that your boat's already sinking, okay, what do you learn from this? Keep putting them on one at a time on this one. What did you made it stronger, right? But what else do you think about it?
It's work.
So do you think maybe if you eliminated some of the materials and used more of one of the kinds of materials, it would be stronger or better? Do you think? So,
No.
or do you need all three? Because remember we talked earlier how you said sometimes steel is stronger than wood. They're not really mixing materials. That's your timer. Okay. It's okay. So
That's okay. That's why we're experimenting. We want to see what works, what doesn't work. And so that's kind of the process of elimination that you could use for this Saxton, is just to see, okay, trial 1 didn't work, trial 2 didn't work, maybe trial 3 or trial 4 could really work. And then that's how you would really find your best design. But it just takes practice and patience to do the process of elimination to really see how you could build the best boat out of these very few materials, which is difficult to do anyways.
Yep, I agree. So all in all, that was our experiment. If we were going to extend this, obviously this would be a longer experiment in the classroom, and we would have probably the criteria would be extended on, and probably, I don't know, I'd change a couple things, I think.
And students would be able to see through their peers. That's a lot of the trials that can be eliminated. Is group A's boat worked fantastic, group B's boat didn't work, why didn't it work, and group C's was almost there. So the process of elimination and being able to compare with the other students in their classroom would be really helpful, so they could see how other students were brainstorming to with no constraints, being able to build a successful boat to hold the weight of 20 pennies.
For sure. So at this time, we are going to end this video portion. I'm going to continue the lesson on with the evaluation, which is going to be a research
questionnaire.
Like a research paper questionnaire where it has pre-filled out questions that he's going to answer just to review and reflect on the experiment, just so it helps him retain information and actually understand what happened. So we will be adding that in to our PowerPoint. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks.
And thanks, Kelsey.
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute.